Today, we're diving into a concept that is both thousands of years old and, honestly, more urgent than ever. It comes from the work of Ryan Holiday, and it's all about stillness. Think of it as this hidden superpower that lets people think clearly when everything is on the line, and make decisions when the stakes are literally life or death. So let's break down how it actually works.
Okay, I want you to just imagine this for a second. You wake up one morning and the entire world is teetering on the edge of total annihilation. Soviet nuclear missiles are sitting in Cuba and they're pointed right at the United States. The fate of 70 million people, maybe even all of humanity, is now resting squarely on your shoulders.
Now that was the unbelievable reality for President John F. Kennedy. And in that moment, in this unimaginable crisis, he didn't lean on aggression. He leaned on this piece of wisdom he just read. It actually became his North Star for navigating what was, without a doubt, the single most dangerous moment in all of human history. So the big question is, how on earth did he do it? How did Kennedy, a young president who had just been totally humiliated at the Bay of Pigs, somehow become the calmest, most clear-headed person in the room when it mattered most?
The pressure was just immense, and it was getting worse every single day. By day 6, you've got his advisors practically screaming for war. But Kennedy, he resisted. He slowed everyone down. He chose the word quarantine, which is a much less aggressive word than blockade, and he did it for one reason. It bought him the one thing he needed more than anything else: time. He used that time as a tool, not as a terrifying countdown.
What Kennedy tapped into wasn't just some clever political strategy. No, it was a timeless wisdom, something that's been the cornerstone of philosophy and religion for thousands of years. It's a concept that has a ton of different names, but one essential meaning.
It's pretty amazing, really. Every major school of thought across different continents and centuries basically arrived at the exact same conclusion. The Stoics called it apatheia. For the Buddhists, it's upekkha. For Christians, equanimitas. They all revered this inner peace, this stillness as the highest possible good.
And this brings us right to this central idea. During the American Civil War, Abraham Lincoln identified the city of Vicksburg as the single strategic point that, if they could just capture it, would unlock victory. For us, right now, in the sort of civil war that's raging inside our own busy, distracted lives, stillness is our Vicksburg. It is the key that unlocks everything else.
So how do we find the stillness? I mean, that's the real question, right? It's not about escaping to a mountaintop somewhere. It's about building a practical, hands-on toolkit for a quiet mind right in the middle of our chaotic, everyday lives.
We're going to break this down into 3 essential techniques. First, we have to learn how to filter all the noise coming at us. Second, we need to clear out all the clutter that's already taken up residence inside our heads. And third, we have to create the space to think with real depth.
This quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus just nails the first step. Limit your inputs. You know, Napoleon famously had his secretary wait 3 full weeks to open his mail. And you know what he found? Most of the so-called urgent problems just solve themselves. We have to stop consuming every piece of news, every notification, every bit of drama. The important stuff, trust me, it'll still be there later.
The second step is to empty the mind. So take the baseball player Shawn Green. He was in this career-ending slump because he was overthinking every single pitch. The solution wasn't more analysis, it was less. He had to completely clear his mind of all the pressure, all the doubt, and just let his years of training take over. The result? He hit 4 home runs in a single game. Incredible. And finally, we have to slow down enough to think deeply. The TV host Mr. Rogers, he opened every single one of his shows with a blinking yellow light. It was a symbol, right? A reminder to slow down and see what's essential but so often invisible. When we create that quiet space, we can achieve what Zen Buddhists call satori, a flash of profound insight that only ever comes when we finally stop rushing.
But there's an internal battle we all face that can destroy our stillness before we even get started. It's the war between quiet confidence and its noisy, fragile imposter, ego.
And the difference between these two is absolutely crucial. See, confidence is earned. It's quiet and it's open to new ideas. It creates peace. Ego, on the other hand, well, it's insecure, it's loud, it's defensive, and it creates constant turmoil. You simply cannot be still when your ego is screaming for attention. True confidence is the bedrock of stillness. If you want a perfect example of this, just look at Ulysses S. Grant. After leaving the Army, a friend found the former West Point graduate selling firewood on a street corner. And this friend was horrified, asking him what on earth he was doing. Grant's simple reply? I am solving the problem of poverty. Just think about that. No shame, no ego, just quiet, unshakable confidence.
So let's bring all this together. Why does this actually matter to you right now? Well, because in a world that is only getting louder and faster and more demanding, the ability to be still is not a luxury anymore. It is a superpower.
The goal here is pretty simple. We have to do the deep, quiet thinking that 99% of people are actively trying to avoid. And, at the same time, we have to stop the noisy, reactive, and destructive thinking that they spend 99% of their time on. Stillness is the ultimate competitive advantage.
So, what's your path forward? It's about being present in the moment. It's limiting the noise you let in, emptying your mind of all those unhelpful thoughts, slowing down to see what everyone else misses, choosing that earned confidence over a fragile ego. This isn't a one-time fix, it's a daily practice that builds the foundation for a clearer, more effective life. And that leaves us with one final, really crucial question. Lincoln knew that capturing Vicksburg was the key to winning the entire war. So, in all the chaos and noise of your own life, your personal life, your professional life, what is your Vicksburg? What is the one thing that if you could just achieve it would unlock everything else for you? I'm going to bet the answer is stillness.